You know, have you ever really stopped to wonder what the world of Pandora actually looks like through the eyes of an avatar? And I'm not talking about movie magic. I mean the real hard science of perception. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down just how an avatar's senses would create a reality so different from ours, it's almost unimaginable.
To even begin to understand an avatar, we first have to understand ourselves. And here's the key thing. Our senses are not some perfect window to the world. Nope, they're more like a biological filter, fine-tuned over millions of years of evolution on just one planet, our planet, Earth.
So what happens if you can just swap out that filter? What if you could step inside the mind of an avatar? What would you actually perceive? I can tell you right now, it wouldn't just be a brighter, more colorful version of our world. It would be an entirely different reality altogether.
I mean, think about it for a second. A bee sees these incredible patterns on flowers that are totally invisible to us. A bat builds a 3D map of the world using nothing but sound. Every single species' reality is custom built for its own survival. So an avatar's senses wouldn't just be better than ours, they'd be exquisitely tuned to the very specific dangers and wonders of Pandora.
All right, so let's start with the big one, our most dominant sense, vision. To really get how an avatar sees, we first need to talk about what they're seeing, the light itself that makes up their entire world.
So here's a fact that might just bend your brain a little. The reality you see every day is just a tiny, tiny fraction of what's actually out there. The universe is absolutely flooded with light, from infrared to ultraviolet, and it's carrying a massive amount of information. And almost all of it just passes right by us, completely invisible.
Take a look at this chart. See that little sliver? That's everything you've ever seen. Every work of art, every sunset, every single person you love. It is all packed into that unbelievably narrow band of light. Everything else is basically a hidden reality.
Okay, so this is the first major upgrade an avatar's vision would have. Their perception would almost certainly stretch into the near ultraviolet and the near infrared ranges. All of a sudden, that hidden world of information would just pop into view.
And this isn't just some cool party trick, you know? It's a critical survival tool on Pandora. Seeing an ultraviolet would let them see patterns on plants and animals that we can't. Seeing an infrared would let them spot the heat signatures of creatures hiding in the dense jungle. For an avatar, even the pitch black night is just buzzing with data.
But it's not just about seeing more of the spectrum. It's also about seeing it with so much more richness. And this brings us to a concept that's actually found right here on Earth. It's called tetrachromacy.
Okay, so we humans are trichromatic. We've got 3 types of color-detecting cone cells in our eyes, which lets us see millions of colors. Pretty good, right? But lots of birds, reptiles, and insects, they're tetrachromatic. They have a 4th type of cone. Now, given Pandora's insane biodiversity, an avatar would likely be tetrachromatic, if not more, allowing them to see not millions, but potentially billions of distinct colors. Just try to imagine this. 2 plants that look exactly the same shade of green to you or me could show up as completely different colors to an avatar. One might be food, the other could be poison. For them, color isn't just decoration, it is a constant, vital stream of data.
So now that we've got a handle on the incredible richness of their color perception, let's dig into how an avatar would process the physical world around them. You know, space, movement, and time. Since avatars are taller and their eyes are set wider apart, their depth perception would just be on a whole other level. They wouldn't just see something as, oh, that's far away. No, they would perceive the entire jungle as a constantly updating, high-resolution 3D map. Every branch, every vine, every moving creature, all of it rendered in real time. Next up is motion. The key idea here is something called the flicker fusion rate. It's basically the frames per second that your brain is able to process. Our flicker fusion rate is actually pretty slow, which is why a really fast-moving object just looks like a blur. But an avatar, having evolved as both a predator and prey, would have a much, much higher rate, kind of like a bird of prey. To them, the world would seem to move in a sort of detailed slow motion. Our movements would look almost sluggish and completely predictable. But this is where it gets truly mind-bending. What happens when all of these super senses merge together? An avatar wouldn't just be perceiving individual things, they'd be perceiving the entire ecosystem as one single interconnected system.
An avatar's perception wouldn't stop at sight and sound. They'd likely be able to sense tiny changes in air pressure, vibrations traveling through the ground and up those giant trees, and maybe even the biological and electromagnetic signals being sent out by the world all around them.
And the key here is that these aren't 5 separate senses all working in parallel. No, for an avatar, all of this data would merge into one single, cohesive experience of reality. Every sight, every sound, every vibration would be instantly contextualized by everything else they're sensing.
There's actually a real-world concept that describes this. It's called distributed cognition. It's the idea that your thinking doesn't just happen inside your skull, it's spread out across your tools and your environment. So for an avatar who's neurally linked to Pandora, their very mind would literally extend out into the world around them.
And this leads to a really profound difference in attention. We humans, we have to filter things out just to focus on one task. An avatar, though, would be able to process their entire environment all at once, maintaining this wide awareness while still tracking multiple specific targets. They wouldn't just see danger, they would feel it in the system before it even became a visible threat.
So what does this all add up to? Well, it's way more than just having better senses. It's about having a fundamentally different relationship with reality itself.
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. We humans are passive observers of reality. We stand apart from our environment, and we look at this filtered, kind of simplified version of it. An avatar is an active participant. They are a fully integrated node within their environment, perceiving it as this layered, living, multidimensional stream of data that they are a part of. They don't just observe Pandora, they synchronize with it.
In the end, Pandora wouldn't seem magical to an avatar. It would just seem normal. And that really forces us to realize that the magic doesn't come from the alien world. It comes from the limitations of our own biology. It's our perception that is limited. And that is the real difference.